There is disturbing new information about sodium cyanide levels following last week's deadly chemical explosions in Tianjin, China. The Chinese Ministry of Environmental Protection now says levels of the highly toxic chemical are 356 times the limit at one spot in the blast zone. This, as a top UN expert is criticizing China over its handling of these chemical blasts, saying that a better flow of information from Beijing might have lessened or even prevented the disaster altogether. Many images of the deadly blast that rocked Tianjin last week were captured by smartphone and quickly posted on social media. And soon after, Chinese authorities scrambled to tighten internet control. According to the censorship tracker Weibo, there was a 10-fold increase in censorship on the popular social network Sina Weibo after the blast. But Chinese media still managed to cover and probe deep into the disaster. Just 17 hours after the blast, the news arm of NetEase reported that the toxic facility was less than 1 kilometer away from residential high-rises, a clear government violation. Jianmian.com, an online business site, managed to track down the owners of the facility. Journalist and professor Ying Chan spoke to me earlier about the impact of this kind of reporting.
I think the Chinese journalists have been emboldened in terms of what they can do. They pushed the limits, and they were able to push back government control. It shows the professionalism and the importance of digging into information. I think this is definitely a landmark event.
Tencent may be famous for being the parent company of WeChat, but it also played a key role in covering the blast. This interactive map has satellite images and before and after photos of the blast site. Ying Chen also weighed in on these investigative reports.
Coverage is very, very important. You can see that they lead the reporting in terms of who's behind the blast, what's the nature of this company that owned the warehouse, its connections, and they were paving the way, and in a kind of very friendly competition with each other. It's like crowdsourcing of reporting and kind of helping each other in this tacit way to push the story forward. And they were on the mark right from the beginning.
Whatever the future is for China's investigative journalists, the Tianjin blast has introduced a new level of criticism directed at Chinese officials, like this op-ed from the state-run Global Times titled "Tianjin Officials Fumble to Communicate," or the party's own mouthpiece newspaper, The People's Daily, spelling out that, quote, China needs to learn from the West to work with media in crisis.